Leadership is about investing in others. Whether you are at home, in the workplace, or in pursuit of your passion, equipping and shaping you to transform the world for Christ. Let us arise. We've got a history to write. Learning Biblical Leadership with Pastor Bharat Raya.
Shalom. Welcome back to Leadership Nuggets with Pastor Bharat Raya. Our intention through this particular video is to learn a leadership nugget so that we can get better in the domain of our work. Most of us are called into leadership, but unfortunately we are blinded towards it. This blindness makes us to perform far below the potential that the Lord has placed in us. This morning the Lord wants to stir us up and take us to the place and the premise where He has called us so that we may perform to the full potential to His glory. This morning I want us to consider the case of Apostle Paul, who is a great influence in the New Testament church. Let's open our Bibles to Acts chapter 26 and let's consider verse 16. Here, let me just bring you the big background to this particular place. Here, Paul is recounting, remembering, rather witnessing, telling about his encounter with the Lord Almighty. He was on the way to Damascus. He wanted to persecute the early church. There the Lord struck him with lightning and he fell on the ground and he was blinded. When he was fallen in that fallen state, the Lord spoke forth, and these are the words that He spoke forth according to Paul himself. He says, "But rise and stand on your feet, for I have appeared to you for this purpose, to make you a minister." Do you see this? Paul was struck down on the ground, completely blinded. He did not know what is happening. In the complete confusion he was in, Lord spoke forth and addressed him. And He said what? "Rise and stand up on your feet." Today the same Lord is speaking to you and me. Most of us have fallen and we are blinded. We have no clue where our life is headed to. The Lord is saying, stand up on your feet. Rise and stand up on your feet. There is a particular call that I called you with. Answer that particular call. That's what the Lord is speaking to us. My brothers and my sisters, are you ready to take up this particular challenge? Next couple of episodes, we're going to look at the call to leadership. And I'm sure that each one of us will learn much from this particular place in the name of Jesus Christ. So we are considering the call to leadership. There are some things, there are some requirements that we all need if you want to excel in the leadership that the Lord has called us to. What is the first thing? The number one thing we need is the competence. Do we have the core competence that is needed? I do not know how many of you are aware of this. Each one of us have been gifted. Each one of us have been given a certain grace. You and I need to open our eyes and acknowledge that gifting and acknowledge that grace upon our life. Most of us have no clue what we are called for because we have no clue what is our gifting and where our grace lies. If you identify it and begin to work towards it, you will end up being very successful in that particular thing. My brothers and my sisters, also if you want to excel, if you want to be competent, you need to understand also there is a certain limitation that we all come with. Not necessarily if you're a pastor you can sing. Not necessarily you are a prophet you can play an instrument. Not necessarily that you are an administration that you need to be a seller. Not necessarily that your competence is somewhere else and that you end up striving elsewhere. But it only makes us to understand the need of others to stand and be effective in the area that we are called with. Are we ready to work with others who can stand up and support us in the call and in the purposes that we are called with. Are we ready to? We must open our eyes and begin to work with others so that our core competence may come to full potential. Number two thing that we need as a leader, leadership requires, is the courage. Second thing is courage. Please understand, not all great leaders are extremely good in creativity. No, not necessarily. Not all great leaders are somebody who are amazing in their decision making. Not necessarily. They have their shortcomings. But in spite of their shortcomings, they stand up because they have the courage to take a step forward and pursue a certain vision. Remember how Jesus walked on the water? Remember, 12 disciples were in the boat. Jesus, they all cried out and said, "Ghost!" But Jesus said, "No, it's not ghost, it's me." But one person of the 12 answered him back, "If it is you, Lord, ask me to come and walk on the water." Jesus said, "Come on, walk on the water." Peter did not even think twice. He jumped onto the water and began to walk on the water. If you want to walk on the water, you need the kind of courage that Peter displayed. My brothers and my sisters, remember one thing. Your competence matters. Your courage matters. Let's end this video with these two very, very precious lessons to pick it up similarly in the next episode. God bless you. Remember these two things. Core competence and your courage matters in the leadership. Stay blessed. Have a fantastic day.